So we are back with yet another success story. This is Gadiel, and Gadiel reached out to me right after I had that interview with Anthony from a couple weeks back, who was talking about how he's now he's clearing $20,000 a year after about 3 years of being in the sync licensing industry. Gadiel sent me a great LinkedIn message saying that Anthony's story sort of mirrors his story, that he's doing really, really well. I'm going to give you guys some of his stats here so you guys can see how well he's doing. And I'm going to basically just ask Gadiel about his experience, about maybe some struggles or some stumbling points that he went through, because I know a lot of us, many of you guys watching this, are going through some moments of doubt or rejection or no responses from libraries. So that's why I want to bring people like Gadiel onto my channel so you guys can hear directly from somebody who's in the trenches right now and probably just a little along further down the road than you are. So he got started in 2021, kind of the end of the pandemic, or the start of the pandemic into the sort of height of it. He was in his final year of university, and he decided to join Sync Academy and get really serious about sync licensing. And now, after just a couple of years in the business, he's saying that he's clearing around 21,000 euro, which is about $22,000, $23,000 in the second year of his sync career. And now his sync licensing income is making up 65% of his annual income. So the vast majority of the money he's making and producing with his music is now coming through the sync licensing side of the business. So 2 thumbs up for that. That's really amazing. He mainly does trailer music. We can certainly talk about, his struggles and triumphs in the trailer world, maybe even some of the placements that you can talk about that he's done. And I definitely want to ask him about his emotional journey through all of this. So Gadiel, with my long intro out of the way, welcome. Thank you so much for reaching out and making yourself available. We really do appreciate you sharing your story. Let's start at the beginning, 2020, 2021, the pandemic hits, you're in university. What's going on in your life and in your world where you decide or you get exposed to sync licensing? How did that all come about?
Yeah, so first of all, thanks for having me on the channel. So in university in 2021, I was studying music performance. My goal was to be a session musician, playing with different artists. I still kind of do that a little bit now, but obviously when the pandemic hit, there was no live events or anything. So I kind of just I've always wanted to do music full time, or ever since I made that decision, I'm just going for it 100%. So obviously when there was no live sessions and stuff, I just tried to find a different avenue, and sync was one of the avenues that I found, alongside with other things. I tried other things, but sync is the one that I stuck with.
Really cool. And now, did you just stumble across a YouTube video of mine, or how did you find out about Sync Academy? I'm just curious how that process worked for you.
Yeah, mainly, I think it was YouTube, actually. I just typed in sync music, and I think your channel must have popped up out of the other people that are talking about sync as well. So then I decided to sign up to Sync Academy, watch a few videos, or all of them really. And yeah, I started copying or doing what you say in your lessons, and yeah.
And what was about it? Because in your message to me, you said that your experience in Sync Academy skyrocketed your career. So was it more about just understanding the structure of sync licensing tracks? Was it the educational side of it? What do you think about your experience in Sync Academy was really a game-changing difference for you?
So like I said, obviously before the whole pandemic, I didn't even know anything about sync. So when I came across your lessons, Sync Academy in general, I kind of went through every video, and I just wanted to understand what sync really is about and how I can use my expertise and put that to work, basically. So yeah, watching your videos, obviously you help with how to structure tracks, the mindset, and yeah, there's plenty of useful tips on there that help me learn how to produce. Because one thing producing for an artist, and there's one thing producing for film and TV. There's a different sort of approach to it. So through Sync Academy helped me.
Right on, man. And so you get into the academy, you watch the tutorials, you're kind of understanding the sort of formula for how to create trailer music, as I'm guessing where you were initially going into. What was your next step? So did you come up with an album of trailer tracks? Did you have just a collection of them? And then how did you find a library? How was that pitching process? Walk us through that part of your story.
Yeah, so I made an album, first of all, but I kind of made a collection of tracks that were just sitting there for a while, just to practice the whole trailer thing, because again, I didn't know what trailer music was even. So I made a collection of tracks based off a couple of the tutorials that you have on Sync Academy. Then when I felt ready, I kind of just made a body of work. So it was about 10 to 15 tracks, like that was just sitting there, right? And then I came across a lady from Sky during a masterclass I was doing up in university, and they were accepting tracks like trailer tracks specifically as well. So I pitched to her the work that I did. I had like a full album at that time. I had the full album ready, and she seemed to love it. So I mean, we made a few changes and a few like feedback here and there, and ended up signing the whole thing. So that was my first break into sync.
Amazing. Now, is this traditional orchestral trailer music? Did you hybrid? Did you create like a different kind of a sound, or what was your approach in that first album?
My very first one was very traditional kind of orchestral trailer music.
Awesome. And so you get accepted, which probably felt good. Was this the first company you sent your music to? Wow. So that's great. No, it wasn't.
The first company I sent my music. What's funny is actually I didn't even reach out to this sync library, right? Like I said, it was during a masterclass, and I just kind of stumbled upon this lady, right? Previously, before that, I sent it out to a few libraries, and yeah, no, like just cold. There's no responses at all.
How many? How many do you remember that either said no or just didn't respond?
It was a couple. I can't put a direct number on it, but maybe between 5 to 10, maybe.
It's a lot. So in that moment, do you remember how you felt in those days or weeks as you're not getting responses, not getting accepted? Did you have a lot of self-doubt? Did you feel that maybe this isn't the right fit for you, or?
You know what? Honestly, so watching your videos and like through Sync Academy, I knew this was normal. So I was kind of expecting it. I wasn't expecting to get accepted straight away, because that's just not how this game works. I mean, for some people it might work, but for most people, they're just not going to get accepted straight away. So I was, your videos kind of gave me up to knowing that I'm not going to get accepted straight away. So I was just going through the process and hoping for the best, really.
Amazing, man. Yeah, so just not taking it personally, expecting that not every little door that we see will be our way in, but that doesn't mean that there isn't a door for us somewhere in our future. So that's amazing, man. That's really cool. Again, that's why that Sync Psych series, we put that at the very top of all the tutorials exactly for this reason, is that you can understand how to make music, how to pitch it, how to select the right libraries. You understand royalties, publishing, PROs, copyrights. You understand all of that. And yet you get rejected a couple of times, and a lot of people might just give up because they didn't have the right expectation in front of them. So that's great. You paid attention to those tutorials. That's great, man. Okay, so you get accepted. How is this income starting to come to you? Are you getting placements? Are you getting notified of the placements? Are these upfront sync fees, royalties? How does that start to work as you're working with this company?
So for that album, I got upfront fee, which is 500 per track, and I sent them 10 tracks, like a 10-track album. So that ended up being 5,000, right? £5,000. Then after that, Sky is actually, well, up until Sky actually submit their Q sheets quite quickly. So the royalties actually came in fairly, not like really quick, but it came in fairly quickly in comparison to like, let's say, your stories or of other people's story that I've heard. So the royalties didn't take too long to come in. And as well as that, like my first placement came not too long after I submitted it. It was actually a James Bond trailer at Sky, which was huge, and that obviously kept me going. Like that kept me going. It was like that really made me believe that I can definitely do this. So even though the royalties didn't come in for like maybe like a year, or maybe just 9 months to a year, I think. Knowing like seeing that placement that I got, especially that first one, that was the motivating factor for me.
That first one is always the big, it's not just about knowing that you achieved something, but it gives you that feeling, I remember this, that I belong. I don't know if you got that feeling as well, where you finally feel like, oh, I'm in this business now. I'm on the big screen, or I'm on this major trailer going all over the world. I'm a real player in this industry now. So you finally feel like maybe if you had some imposter syndrome going on, that kind of melts away very quickly when you see a legitimate placement with your music behind it and somebody's going, we value this music and we're going to pay for it and we're going to place it. So that must felt really just amazing and validating for you. And it's so crazy to think that. And how long do you think from the day you got accepted to that company, the first one, to that James Bond placement? Do you know about how many months that was?
I think it was weeks,
Weeks. Wow.
Yeah. So the lady that I work with, she's amazing, Jamie. Yeah, she's been really supportive even till now. So I sent her my stuff. Usually you don't see what placements you've got, but she was kind of chasing up and like yeah, just chasing up on placements and showing me what placements I've got, and that was the first one that she sent to me. It's just like, oh, this just got placed from your album, because I guess she's pitching the albums and stuff to music supervisors or like them type of people. And yeah, so she got back to me in within like 2 to 3 weeks, I think.
Crazy, man. I love so many things about this story. I love, first of all, the consideration fee, the upfront fee you got, $500 a track. That's a really nice fee. I didn't know those fees were still so, they're obviously rarer and rarer these days. Many libraries are not offering them at all. And if they are, they're pretty low. But I'm really glad to hear that some libraries, some companies really are still valuing the composition that much to really invest in you, to say, we believe we're going to recoup on this, tenfold, 20-fold. So we're happy to pay you some money up front. So that's really cool. Second of all, I love your story, Anthony's story, Eric's story. I'll maybe link all those previous interviews below. We've had a whole series of great success stories recently on this channel. Because it's also proving that the quote unquote good old golden days are not over. And I've heard that from so many producers that have been in this industry for a long time that feel, well, those amazing sync fees and those opportunities and those huge, bounties essentially for these gigs are over. And now we're all just scrapping for pennies. And I understand parts of the industry certainly have followed that trajectory, but I just loved hearing that there are still, after just 2 years essentially in this industry, you are just doing extremely well. And I only see that this is going to be going higher and higher for you. So right now, are you only working with that one company still, or have you branched out to work with a second or third?
Yeah, I've branched out to work with 3 other companies, 3 other sync libraries.
And are all of them, are you constantly feeding them new music, or are they the type that they just ask you for custom opportunities from time to time? Or is it a mix?
So I'm always working on my own stuff with sync as well, even like in my spare time. I'll always, even if I don't have a brief right now, I'll still make some sort of like collective body of work that I can submit. So even outside, I've got like I'm working on a couple briefs right now, but during dry seasons, I try and just like make my own albums and submit that to other libraries.
Now I'm going to put you on the spot here. We'll see how well you answer this question. So, trailer music it's an extremely competitive field, and it's something that I've cautioned everybody that it's not something you're going to just dabble in. Like, you'll do a little bit of hip hop and rock, and then you'll do some trailer on the side. Trailer is just such a very intense and just intricate style of music to produce, and it just takes a lot of mental focus and energy. What do you attribute your success in that genre to? I know you went to university. I don't know if you attribute some of the training you had. I'm assuming maybe, did you do music at university?
Yeah, I did music performance.
Music performance, okay. How much of that do you think plays into it? How much do you think is just your ears in terms of you just having sort of like an instinct for where you want to go with your music? How much of it is you following reference tracks, the sound qualities you have? If you could, do a sort of dissection on your approach to trailer music, what would you say are the winning elements that are making you successful in this field?
Firstly, I think reference tracks for sure. Like studying reference tracks. I like to, even before I did, like I was submitting tracks and I was making my own albums, I was kind of remaking tracks that are already out there. So reproducing tracks just to build my sound palette, know what trailer music is like, what they're looking for, kind of tempo, type of instrumentation they're looking for in terms of dynamics as well, like a 3-part structure. Just like learning the foundations of trailer music. I think that everyone that's trying to do it has to learn the foundations of trailer music, right? Because obviously it's not just a chorus, verse, bridge type of thing. You really have to follow like a set structure. So learning that I definitely did that, and obviously Sync Academy definitely helped with that as well. As well as that, I feel like I'm being a session musician. I play keys as well, right? So knowing different like chord progressions and stuff that work to create that mood, because it's all about a mood, right? That definitely helps as well. And yeah, I think having references and just understanding a little bit of music theory to help you get by and like make your own progressions and just get that mood across is what's helped me a lot.
Awesome, man. I love that you started off with reference tracks, because it's definitely the drum that I beat consistently here on the channel. And I definitely think no matter what genre you guys, those of you that are watching, compose or produce or go for, if you are new to sync licensing or you're struggling with sync licensing because you're not getting results, then those reference tracks are there for free. Almost every library you go out to, you can go find them, and you can literally copy their essence. You can figure out, how they're doing what they're doing and sort of follow similar structures and dynamics and changes and all that kind of stuff. So very, very cool that you figured that out really early on in your career. I know many of our members, even still, who have been in Sync Academy for years, still aren't doing that consistently. They're still just opening up a blank DAW session and just going for it and thinking that on the end, it's going to be a licensable tune. And I keep telling them, you're destroying yourself, and you're wasting a lot of time by doing that. You don't have to work that hard. It's a lot easier than that, actually. So, well, Gadiel, man, appreciate you, dude. Thank you so much. Let's sort of finish this up with one last bit. If you could give any advice, wisdom, insights to those producers that might be just a little behind you in their journey. They're creating that first album. They're maybe getting rejected like you were getting rejected. They're not sure if there's a place for them in this industry. What would be something that would have really helped you to hear in those moments of doubt or not really sure if this is going to be something that could work out for you?
Yeah, so for me, one thing I always I live by kind of thing is just being yourself, right? So even with in terms of production, like there is even with trailer music, for example, right? There's a set three piece structure. But adding your own twist to stuff and just being original, I think is really important. Obviously, you don't want to stray too far away and just do your own thing completely, but it's always important to add a little bit of yourself in your tracks. Like trailer music, for example, I'm talking about trailer music because that's what I do predominantly. But trailer music, I feel like there's so many tracks that sound the same and are all very, very similar. Similar to where like you can't actually even differentiate one track from another. I always like to spice it up a little bit, maybe even add vocals or record some vocals yourself in, or if you played, I don't know, saxophone, maybe try and synthesize that sound design and bring that in. Like Brahms, for example, right? You might just record one note in there and just like be original. Like you don't always have to go and splice or whatever. Splice is amazing. I use splice all the time. But yeah, having that originality, I think is super important.
Big time, man. And especially for trailer music. I think it can be applied for all genres, but specifically trailer music, as you said, because all these tools and VSTs and instruments are now available to everybody. You can have an amazing orchestra sound coming out of your home studio from your laptop literally these days. So how do you create your, like you said, that signature? Like if you were a painter, there would have to be something in your paint and something in your style that people go, oh, I recognize that. That's that one, painter. So you got to do the same kind of thing, especially with trailer music. So I definitely have encouraged you guys to create hybrid styles, or like Gadiel was talking about, vocals, 100%, even if it's just background vocals. It doesn't have to be lyrics, but just some sort of a human element or even a human voice mimicking a guitar, mimicking horns, mimicking something like that. Amazing, awesome potential there to obviously create your own little signature hook. And the only way to find that out, guys, there's really not going to ever be a tutorial. You got to just do it. You got to try things out. You got to experiment. You got to, combine sounds that you've never combined and try new approaches until you find something that's like, this is cool. I like it. And it really does say something about me as a composer, as a producer, and it helps create a little hook for myself and a little signature. So great advice, Gadiel. Appreciate your time today, buddy. Thank you so much. If you guys want to learn more about Gadiel, if he has any social media links or anything, I'll go ahead and link those down below. But I hope you guys found this useful, motivating, and encouraging for your sync licensing career. And just know that, yes, it's still, I think, 2 to 5% of you guys will probably do well and break through. But as you're seeing in all of these examples on my channel lately, they're real examples. They're real people. There's real producers. And Gadiel, as you can tell, is a pretty down-to-earth, normal human being who just works hard, has the right mindset. Hopefully you guys picked up on that in that interview. And he obviously got himself educated to make sure that he wasn't wasting his time or the time of his library and production music library partners. So Gadiel, we wish you all the best. Hopefully we can get you on the channel again for maybe an update. But man, I see some bright, amazing things in your future, man. So thanks so much for your time.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me as well.